Hey everybody, this is GGB. We're going to be getting into college basketball upset of the day, Monday edition. I know I've taken a little bit of this off. I'm sorry about that. So I was planning on doing it every week, right? But 2 weeks ago was finals week, and I'm like, I can't do it. But 3 weeks ago was like the week before finals week. I'm like, I gotta study. It's gonna be finals week next week, and then it was finals week, and like, I'm obviously not doing it for finals week. That'd be insane. Finals week is super hard regardless, and it was tough. It was a tough finals week. But, so I took my finals, and then I went home, and then I went on a road trip to Pennsylvania, and so that was like a week. And so I haven't done this videos in 3 weeks, and I'm sorry for that, because there's been some good basketball games. I'm going to do it this week. Probably not going to do it next week, mainly because it's Christmas, and also there's not a lot of... There's some days with absolutely no college basketball, which would just ruin how college basketball upset of the day works. But I'm going to do it for this week, and we're going to see how we do. We got 3 games today that are Power 5 basketball games. If you don't know how this works, normally every single day I pick a top 25 team to be upset. And I get a point if that upset hits. I get a point and a half if it hits and it's the biggest upset of the day. And I get half a point if there's no upset on a given day. There are no top 25 basketball teams playing today. So the next thing I go to is if there's a Power 5 basketball team playing today. And there are 3 Power 5 basketball teams playing today. At 6 o'clock, we had Oakland, who's 6-5, traveling to Michigan State, who's 5-5. Michigan State favored by 16.5 points on the Big Ten Network. At 6 o'clock, we had Delaware State, who's 6-7, traveling to Wake Forest, who's 6-3. Wake favored by 20.5 points on the ACC Network. And at 6 o'clock, we had Maine, who's 8-4. Traveling to UCF, who's 6-3. UCF favored 16.5 on ESPN+. I like to just shout out one thing. Huge win by Michigan State on Saturday. Round of applause for Sparty. They'd been struggling recently. They've been going through it. They lost to Nebraska last week. And it looked like they had a chance to slip significantly below 500, fall to 4-6, and it's just like not a good place you want to be if you're Michigan State and your hopes to make the NCAA tournament, which is the hope every single year for Tom Izzo and his squad. It's the expectation. And it looked like that was a great chance of happening, because you were not going to make it. You were going to fall significantly below 500. And then you beat the ever-living crap out of Baylor. And that's going to be a big game. If Michigan State ends up being a bubble team, that win against Baylor is going to be a huge quad 1 win to check out and be like, that's a big win. That was a huge win. Not only did they win, but they dominated a really good Baylor team heading into the day. I understand a lot of undefeated teams were upset yesterday. We only have 4 left standing in college basketball, and all of college basketball. 3 of them are complete shocks, by the way. I don't think anyone, if they listed last 4 they think standing, Oklahoma, James Madison, or Ole Miss would be on that list. And Houston's obvious, because Houston's been a really good basketball team for the longest time. But Michigan State gets a big win. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think they have a great chance to follow this up with going on a little bit of a run, right? Go on a little bit of a run, beat these beat these squads that are lesser, right? And Oakland is a lesser squad. You have to beat the lesser squads before you get into Big Ten play. I mean, like, obviously you started with the Nebraska game, but, like, get deep into Big Ten play, get deep into the season. You need to win games like this, so you put yourself in a position where you don't have to win every single Big Ten game. Chance to go on a little bit of a run, put yourself back into that picture. Wake's an interesting squad. They've been playing really good basketball as well. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do in ACC play this year. They were a fringe team last year and ended up losing in the ACC tournament, which didn't allow them to not get in, right? Like, they were a bubble team that did not play their way into the tournament last year. Chance to make a little bit of a change there if you are the team in Deeks. And then UCF's an interesting squad. They have some... Not some bad, like, they have some interesting losses. They have some bad losses. They have some interesting wins, and I think it's going to be interesting how they do first year in the Big 12. Obviously, Big 12 is a really good basketball conference. It's going to be really hard to win games there. I think all these teams win, if I'm going to be honest. All these teams are kind of layups. Maine, Delaware State, and Oakland aren't playing their best basketball right now. Maine's playing some decent basketball. I think UCF is the weakest of the 3 here. I was definitely never going to pick Wake, because I think Wake's playing some extremely good basketball right now. I was debating going Michigan State until the awesome win against Baylor. I think UCF, of these 3, are playing the worst basketball. I think of these 3, Maine's playing the best basketball. It's the best shot for an upset. Give me the Black Bears to go on the road and upset the Knights.